What's up, everybody? Furin here, and we have the last siege of the postseason for Season 8, and we are going up against Cataclysm. We're going to take a quick look at their defenses. We see some 4-star Kinkis, we see some Molong Woosa Savs, we see some Kinkis with Vigor and Lulu, and we see some Carc Praha Savannahs. We are going to go right into this first attack here with a CP cleave. So similar to Poseidon cleave, we have the Galleon Triana. The difference here is just that since there's no glancings from Amali or anything, I like Chung Pung for a little bit more consistency because you have the triple hit on the pushback, so you're not going to get like a single 15% that potentially will lose you against one of these things. And so I find this just to be much more consistent against this style of comp. Next, we're going to go into this Carcano, Praha, and Savannah. We're going to take our favorite Gunrat Dog comp. So we are going to boost our just full damage rage Covenant. He's going to kill his brother Carcano here. And then we are just going to go for a little bit of a long but very safe 2v2 with the Khmun and Raccoony versus the Savannah and the Praha. The main tips here, I would just make sure that you have some accuracy on your Khmun. Get some heal blocks up so you don't have to fight this for as long as I did. And then also as tanky as you can get this Raccoony. If you can get some resist on him too, that's pretty nice. I just have like a swift set that I move around between a lot of units that I put on him for this attack. But we're going to finish off this Savannah second. We're going to get the Savannah dismounted. We have the heal block up. And then as soon as this Savannah goes down, there's no way this Praha is going to 2v1. There's not a ton of damage here. There's potentially some RNG with the Savannah defense break into like some procs from a high damage Praha. But as you can see here, we were able to easily take out this first team here. And we're actually going to run right back. So show you a little bit of runes here. We have actually a crit damage Khmun. I think I'm probably going to move this to a crit rate and just a little bit tankier Khmun in the future. We have the full slow rage Covenant, and then we have a swift Raccoony just to make sure that we go first, even if there is a fast Savannah here. I think technically if it was like a swift Savannah and we didn't have like the most absolute fastest set and the pushback landed on the Raccoony, then we could get some not fun times here. But I think that's a lot of ifs there. This still felt pretty safe to me. Again, we're going to do the exact same thing. We killed off the Carcano right away. We took out that defense break and high damage that goes through the Khmun shields. And now we're just not going to have a lot of damage out of this team between the defense break being on a very low cooldown and unlikely to hit on my double fire, and just not a very high damage on either of these Prahas. The second one was a little bit higher damage, but again, we're just going to fast forward through the 2v1 and take my word for it. It wasn't close. We got it. Next, we are going to go into this Nana Eshir Sagar. They were running a ton of towers of this. For our first hit, we're just going to take a Mirane Lucian. We prioritize damage on light on the Lucian for this. We want to make sure that that is the unit that dies so it doesn't get a heal off. We actually kill all three with some pretty big cards. We actually ran a fight Tion here since we had the speed lead over them. And after skill 1 from the Lucian, the Mirane is able to finish off that Nano's second life for our next win of the siege. They had a whole tower of these Khmun Odin Dracos, and I was a little bit rushed here, and I've been meaning to practice this Franz Tessa Songsoul into the Tessa variant of this comp, and I just wasn't thinking enough. I actually thought that this was a Tessarian and not a Khmun. We got pretty lucky here. The Draco derped, and it didn't use his buff. So we were still able to use the Song Soul to put up our block debuff or block of buffs so that the Odin doesn't get any stacks here, doesn't get any immunity. We're able to finish him off with this next round of attacks. We actually lasted a lot longer here against the Odin because he just died from the first attack buff hit from the Tessarian. We didn't get the Oblivion up until after he died, so we had to kill him a second time. And going through this Khmun is pretty easy since we do have this Tessarian, and then 3v1 we should be more than fine here. I think this comp is still pretty good if you know that it's not a Swift or just you think you can outspeed the lead disadvantage of 9%. Not something I would take in blind in the future just because if the Draco had used the right skill there and sniped something the first turn, then we would have not won this attack. So we got a little lucky, but there we go, 5 wins in a row. We're going to go again into this Nana Eshir Sagar, and we're going to take a similar cleave to our first comp. This time we're just going to take a Charlotte instead of the Chungpong. I think I don't like it quite as much because there's not as much pushback, but you get the glancings and you get the boost for your team. So we actually see some Nemesis action here, and the Eshir almost cut, but we were able to get our Triana second turn and do a ton of damage to finish off everything except for the second life of the Nana. And then Charlotte with this attack buff and a defense break, a nice 16k crit, able to finish off that second life and get us our next win here. We're going to hit one of the LD defenses on their side. This time it is a Nana, Kinki, and a Nicki. So kind of an interesting comp here in that you have a little bit of sustain and a little bit of added pressure from the heal block and the attack buff on the Nicki. Still think like this comp is not something that's like intensely intelligent. It's just a little bit of, you know, bringing in some very tanky units with some immunity to stop ourselves from getting defense broken. And then the Diana I like here just to have the shields to make it so that one, we're less likely to get procced into in the beginning when they have the attack buff, and then two, at the end when we're trying to kill this Kinki last, it should just be much easier to kill the Kinki since it's going to have to hit through the shield and it's going to revenge and heal a lot less. So we didn't transform the first turn because the enemies had full attack bar and we didn't want to get nuked down by the Kinki. But the second time around, after we procced a little, we're able to almost take out this first life of the Nana and get a nice stun on the Nicki. We're going to take off this first life of the Nana, and then I think we're just going to go ahead and kill it again to get rid of that, you know, potential for if like my Lulu gets procced into or something, to have the fight sway from the Nana procs. So we're just going to go ahead here, take out this Nana to be safe, and then we can go ahead and kill off the rest of this team. So I think at this point, I'm not like super worried. It seems like this Nicki and this Kinki weren't the highest damage. There was actually Nemesis on the Nicki, so I wonder if this is something that they were trying to like beta cleave, and then the Kinki can, or the Nicki can have her Nemesis cut and get a cleanse and do a heal and save the team. But again, we're going to eventually be able to brawl down this Nicki, and then 3v1 we have a lot of damage, a lot of healing, and then the shield from the Diana to make it so that we are going to be able to pretty easily take down this Kinki. And here we go with this next attack. We'll finish off the Nicki, and then we'll be able to go into this Kinki. I think I'm going to prioritize putting immunity up on the Fang so that he can still do all his good damage. We're going to put a shield up so that he's not going to revenge and heal a lot. It doesn't matter because we get the stun while we get out the bulk of the Kinki's health, and then with that last attack, we get our 7th win in a row. We have to go in quickly into this Nigong, Molly, and Molong comp. We took in our kind of Exodia comp of Nana, Narsha, and Savannah. Again, not like the most appropriate for this comp in terms of something that's free to play or repeatable. I think that you could have pretty easily taken something like a Cha-Cha double win comp here with maybe some minus water on the Cha-Cha to control the Molong and just destroy down these units. But we needed to hit this pretty fast. We were trying to avoid a tag on our inner base. And so again here, because there's not like heavy immunity to stop our Beast Rider damage, and the revive from the Nigong will keep on giving us more procs or more stacks on the Nana if we need to kill things multiple times. We get kind of lucky here and we're able to strip the Soul Protect from the Molong and get the actual kill on him, and then finish off this Nigong before he can get another skill 3 up. And we still have 2 more stacks down to 1 against this Molly. And so again, pretty safe, pretty nice, fun to see. Dies is making fun of me in guild chat for taking in the whale comp, but you know, it works. It was fun. And we're going to get this next win. For our second to last attack here, we're going to go into this Draco Odin team again. This time we know it's Khmun, but we're going to bring in our Garo, Draco, and Rocky. easily outspeed with a 30 lead versus the 19. We're going to have the skill 3 that blocks the revives to kill the Odin once and not have to kill it again. And then we have a pretty easy 2v3 versus this Khmun and Draco. We're just going to skill 1 on the Draco to try and make sure we can cycle back to immunities and attack buffs as much as we can. We're going to prioritize killing the Khmun next because it's just as soon as the Khmun dies, that's the only kill potential that anything on this team has. I end up just doing a stun on the Draco here to prevent it from cycling back into immunity. And then we get another turn cycle with our Rocky, and her skills, when they come back up here, will be able to easily finish off this Khmun. We actually, I think, I missed a crit on the Garo. We really need to rerun that a little bit higher. But there we go. Skill 3 from the Rocky takes out the Draco, and then a few more turns, or takes out the Khmun, and then with a few more turns, we're able to take out that Draco for our second to last sword of the season. And for our last attack of the season, we're going to go into this Sabrina, Belita, and Triana. There was a 4-star tower that came up, and it was pretty interesting. They had a lot of mixture of old and just kind of different twins defenses. I've seen this before. It never really took off, but it's like the inverse MST with the water twin and the other dark twin, the Chakram rather than Martina. We can do a similar style of offense that you would take in MST, or rather than the light tank plus double water, you take in the light tank plus double wind. The Sabrina isn't going to hit either the wind units, and the Belita is going to go into your light tank. So everything is pretty much going to hit this Molly here, who is pretty tanky and can survive all this. She also has minus dark here, which is going to be the bulk of the damage. These twins actually did a fair bit of damage. I think the ideal comp also would have been, rather than Ayunu plus Raise Velg, I should have taken in like a damage Triana for a little bit extra death prevention and a little bit of extra healing. But I'm in the process of reruning my Triana for next season. And so it just took what was ruined in order to get this last win of the siege. And there we go. We get our 10th win in a row to finish off our last siege of the season with a nice 10-0 victory. Here is the map at the end of the siege. Again, good game to Cataclysm, was a fun siege, and we'll see you all in the next one.